Hello everybody, my name is C, formerly known as C Monet, and I'll be your host for today's video. If you know anything about Terraria, which I'd imagine you do if you click this, you'd know that it has lots of weapons, and it also has lots of armor and accessories to boot. But one little thing you might notice is the distinct lack of green. Yeah, that's right, green, but don't worry, today I'm here to rectify that. I recently watched CJ DEATHBOT's video, Can You Beat Terraria with Only Red Weapons, and decided to undertake the challenge myself. Except, I'm gonna take it a little bit further. In his video, he only used red weapons, but I'm limiting my viridescent self to not only using green weapons, but green accessories and armor as well. You could already imagine some of the implications this might have, but I'll just let you see, as this challenge gets pretty interesting. Oh yeah, and one more thing before we get this started, thanks to Wishy7 for the thumbnail art, and this video is dedicated to my late friend Evan. Fly high, buddy. We're gonna do a large world because it's the greenest, and expert mode because it's also the greenest, and corruption for reasons that might already be apparent but will make sense later. And straight off the bat, we are throwing away our copper short sword because, as you may have noticed, that thing ain't green. This means that we're not going to have a weapon until we find something that's adequately green. Regardless though, that doesn't stop me from building a few NPC houses and going on my merry way. I hit some trees for some fruit for that early game speed boost, and then I quickly find an entrance to our first cave. It actually ends up having a minecart rail, and by a stroke of pure luck, I actually end up finding a pair of Hermes boots for my very first gold chest. And look, I know the minecart isn't green, but I actively avoided using it to damage enemies to not invalidate our weaponless status. If this were a normal playthrough, I would have been ecstatic to find this cloud in the bottle, but as it's not green, we can't use it. For now, that is. I managed to pick up Life Crystal, but end up recalling as there wasn't too much there. Now that we're home, I made the NPC houses livable, because apparently I forgot to do that before, because I'm stupid. After wrapping that up though, we're off again to seek greener pastures. Aided by my Hermes boots, I managed to slip through a few zombies to reach our second cave that also has our second accessory, the radar. You better get used to this little guy, because there are a surprisingly little amount of green accessories. In another stroke of luck, I managed to get a blowpipe from the same cave, which is, if you can't tell, green. So now we have a weapon. After a little bit more exploration, and then boxing myself in at the corruption, I just gave up and popped the recall. I then used some iron bars I got to make a pickaxe and your bog standard anvil, sawmill, and loom setup. And using the little bits of cobweb I gathered, I make a green banner to truly mark my territory. Now, if I had just gone left a little bit at the start, I would have found this desert and therefore cactus, but it's not really a big deal. And now, with the advent of cactus, we could say goodbye to those nuclear fries in the corner, and also say goodbye to my luscious fur and hair. And now, we'll say hello to our new cactus armor and sword. Both the cactus armor and the sword are going to prove to be pretty useful because they're both way more consistent damage than the blowpipe. The blowpipe takes seeds, which we surprisingly don't have very many of, so it'll be nice. While exploring the right side of the world, I found an ice biome, so I knew that our jungle was on the left, so eventually we'll get to the jungle. Once I'm there though, I make sure to build a little house and a bed so I can set my spawn there, because we're going to be here for a while. My goal was to eventually get pylons to set up fast travel, but because I'm a jackass, I forgot to bring a bed. I just dive into the jungle caves though and get quickly decapitated before receiving an anklet of the wind from a treasure chest. This anklet is another one of those accessories that are going to be staying on our person for a very long time. There's also another accessory for us to find in the jungle once we get back. It's a very long trek through the corruption. Oh hey, look at that, I boxed myself into the corruption again. Oh, wait, there he goes. Yeah, this kinda sucks, but eventually I get back and I put down a bed and we're all good. After passing, quite frankly, too many life crystals, I find two little chests. Wow. Oh, what do they have in them? Oh, an anklet of the wind, cool. Don't need that. Oh, and another one. And guess who forgot to set their spawn? I mean, that's alright though, nothing that'll stop us. Back to the grind, I guess. My main goal right now is just to get some spores, stingers, and vines to make jungle armor, and then worry about a weapon later. We're gonna need a lot of stingers to craft any kind of good weapon, so it'll take a while. After a frankly embarrassing death, I've scrounged up enough jungle spores to be able to craft a hat that'll increase my defense from 3 to 7. We got some jungle pants, and hey look, it's that accessory I was talking about, feral claws. Cool. These feral claws are gonna help a ton with our new secret weapon that hasn't been— oh, okay, it's Blade of Grass. Yeah, whatever. I got it. It's been so many fucking hours. The power spike we get from Blade of Grass is insane. I went from like tickling hornets to speed blitzing them like it was nobody's business. I wrapped up my jungle adventure by capping out my life, making a new Thorn Chakram, and then finishing off my jungle set. If I didn't know any better, I'd say we're pretty damn well equipped to take out some bosses, huh? Yeah, this fight is gonna be pretty easy, honestly. There's not really much challenge when you have jungle armor and a Blade of Grass. I try and like weave my chakram in there to get extra hits, but nothing that'll really matter in the grand scale. Also, sorry for no audio on this. I was in Discord talking. Funny fact, there's a natural spawn eye, so another one spawns right after this one, but I'll just save you the time. After selling all my Eye Cthulhu loot, I gave Eater Worlds a try. As you can see, upcoming, the fight doesn't really go too well for me, but it doesn't matter. My goal here is just to survive the bounce house long enough to kill some segments. Yeah, eventually I die, but I did collect enough Shadow Scales and Demonite to make a pickaxe. Off to the mines I go, and I found a random desert house in the middle of the normal underground. Weird. I also took to the skies and got a balloon. And now here comes the goblin army, and if you're really perceptive, you would have seen in my inventory I had a whoopee cushion. I start mining a elevator in hopes to find a goblin tinker, but I'm foiled a little bit early. Eventually though, I manage to find the tinker, and then I can make a fart in a jar, fart in a balloon, and green horseshoe balloon. I honestly got super lucky because the whoopee cushion literally dropped from the first giant worm I killed, and I would have not had any vertical mobility besides Terra Spark boots, and that would have been a pain in the ass to farm. But anyways, on to Skeletron we go. This guy's kind of an asshat. I figured out he's immune to poison, and that doesn't really bode well for us. This is just really annoying, trying to hit his hands with the sword. The Thorn Chakram helps, but it's really easy to miss. And then you're locked out of using it while it returns to you. Anyways though, I kind of getting in my ass handed to me at this point, so. Yeah, I died to him, so what? I'm back on that elevator grind now. I get some Hellstone bars for some tools. I also managed to find a magma stone, which, if you didn't know, shimmers into a lava charm. King Slime decided this time to show up, so I rip his face off. In other news though, my plan now is to go to the jungle to kill Queen Bee. Queen Bee herself doesn't have any drops that are useful to us, but it's the NPC that she spawns that we're looking for, the Witch Doctor. After the Witch Doctor shows up, we'll have access to the imbuing station and a new weapon. This fight wasn't that bad, in all honesty. I had the honey buff and the regen potion, which was basically enough to tank the entire fight. If I had a Bazaar, it would have been good here, but I really didn't need it. When she's standing still and spawning bees, we could just shred her health bar. Blade of Grass is way too powerful for a pre-boss weapon. And also, when she's dashing, I could kind of throw the Thorn Chakram in a way that it hits her on the return. But yeah, the fight was a piece of cake. Now, it's finally time for our new weapon, the blowgun. Now this is normally a weapon I would never ever use, but this is what makes challenge running interesting. The blowgun uses these poison darts we can craft from stingers, and is actually not too bad, being comparable with the musket. Even though this weapon is normally really bad, this challenge has made me appreciate it, as it remains useful to us for a very long time. In the meantime though, I explored the underground desert to get a magic conch and also 5 bass statues, which was crazy. After setting up the arena buffs and getting some fire flasks, I think I'm ready to take on Skeletron again. Welcome back to Skeletron Part 2. I was so afraid of this guy, honestly. I even brought honey to the arena. The first time I fought this guy, I didn't have any buffs, and now I have a lot. So you would imagine this would make it a little bit easier. I just use the blowgun when he's shooting skulls at me, and I use the Blade of Grass when he's getting close, and I occasionally throw the Thorn Chakram to reapply the fire debuff when I can't get in close. Yep, and there Skeletron goes. Relatively painless fight, but I'm glad. Now that we've slain our good friend Skeletron, we can mosey our way into the dungeon. Now, there isn't anything green we can use from the dungeon, but I still do want the Shadow Key. Once we get that, though, I head down to Hell to search for the most questionably green weapon of the run. Yep, that's right, we're finally getting to use our magic armor with the introduction of the Flower of Fire. Now, I debated whether this weapon could be considered truly green, because while the sprite is half green, the projectiles it shoots aren't green. I ended up deciding to use it anyway, and I'm glad I did, because the Wall of Flesh fight might have been very painful without it. In the meantime, I've been building the Hell Bridge, I located the Shimmer, and I also collected all the pieces required to make our Terra Spark boots. Unfortunately, these are our only other sources of vertical mobility until we get wings, and spoiler alert, that isn't for a while. And now, it's finally time to fight the Wall of Flesh. My general strategy approaching this fight was to just spam the flower until I ran out of mana, and then just use the blowgun until I regenerated all my mana. I could have used the mana flower in this run, as I deem it green enough, but I didn't feel it was necessary, because mana regen potions can carry me. Actually, when I was building the Hell Bridge, I gave the Wall of Flesh a shot with no buffs, and actually got pretty close, so doing it with buffs should be a cinch. I knew that if I tried to get in close with the wall, I'd just lose all my momentum and die because of my lack of knockback immunity. I ended up using about 2/3 of my Hell Bridge, and if I remember correctly, I used about like 2,000 blocks to make it, so this was cutting it a little bit closer than I wanted. Now that we're in hard mode, I sprint as fast as I can to the corruption to bless our world with palladium, orichalcum, and titanium. You might be wondering why I'm so eager to get my hands on this hard mode ore even though none of it's green. Well, you're stupid and you're wrong, because I take all that orichalcum I mined and then shimmer it into beautiful green mithril bars. With those mithril bars, I craft a full mage set and also a mithril repeater. After another round of mining and another round of shimmering, I come back to make the ranger hat and also a mithril halberd. After I did all that, I noticed I had gotten a mechanical eye at some point, so I decided to start preparing for that. My preparations include, but are not limited to, building an arena fit with mini buffs, collecting those juicy cursed flames for flasks and arrows, shimmer forging because I'm broke, and then reforging the rest of the accessories I couldn't to warding. After all that, I went to fight the twins and successfully got my ass handed to me right after Spasmatism got to second phase. Unsurprisingly, the twins are very difficult without wings or knockback immunity, so back to the think tank I go. After receiving a mechanical worm from the Blood Moon, I get a stroke of genius. If you remember, I mentioned a pre-hard mode weapon that would remain useful for a while, and that weapon is not the Flower of Fire. Using those cursed flames we got to make darts, the blowgun is back out of retirement. And after building a minecart track to supplement my bad mobility, we now have the perfect way to kill the destroyer. In a normal playthrough, you would usually just get a dart pistol or rifle depending on whatever you want, but it's not really an option here. This was honestly my favorite part of the run because figuring out this unconventional strategy was so satisfying. And hey, this is a little cheesy for the destroyer, but you just gotta learn to take a W sometimes. The main strategy for this fight is just shooting curse darts above him so that the little droplets fall on him. These things can infinitely pierce and are affected by gravity, so they're just perfect for killing the destroyer. The DPS at one point gets up to around 2,000, which is crazy for a blowpipe. We can just ride full speed on the minecart until we reach the edge of the world because the destroyer won't really despawn, and him chasing us lets us hit him more with the Cursed Inferno. The only other thing worth noting here is that I used the Featherfall potion for better air control on the minecart, which is pretty important for dodging the laser beam. Uh-oh. Watch out, Destroyer. Here comes the giant Cursed Inferno. Oh, boom! There he goes. Another painless victory. With one mechanical boss down, we gained shit all. And now it's time for the other two. That is, after grinding for some potion buffs and for the souls for the spawners. Amidst the grinding, I get a natural Skeletron Prime spawn, so I think I'm tough, so I try and take him on. With a legion of new buff potions, I take him on, and actually I put up a good fight, but my knockback immunity crisis is still my foil. I'm honestly still kinda mad that I choked this fight. We could've had an easy mech buff. My damage is actually not looking half bad now. I made an artificial Crimson with a fishing pond, so now we have access to Ichor, Heart Reach potions, and Wrath potions. This unfortunately does not solve my skill issue because fighting the twins with the new minecart strategy, I managed to kill Spasmatism and get Retinazer all the way down to 25% HP or so, and then I despawned him. Like the brave warrior I am, I conserve my buffs and my time by trying to attempt Skeletron the very same night, and then I get instantly dropped. After a momentary pirate break and soul farming break, we're back to the twins yet again. My general strategy for the twins is pretty straightforward. Just apply Ichor, shoot my arrows, and dodge as best as I can while riding at a medium speed to not despawn them. After Spasmatism goes down, it's just as simple as aiming your shots correctly and making sure not to... shit. More fishing, more buffs. You know, actually, I haven't tried Skeletron on the minecart yet. Maybe he'll go down a little bit easier. Now, Skeletron is a little bit different from the twins when you're riding on the minecart because he perfectly tracks you, and he basically can't hit you with anything but the laser while he's spinning and the melee arms while he's going from spinning to flying back over your head. And this is less than an issue because my buffs in combination with all warding on my accessories just lets me tank everything he's doing. I do have a little scare towards the end because I have to get off the minecart because I don't have a bumper on the left side, but I fix that right after. Regardless though, I get back on the minecart and I kill him with almost full health remaining. I'm starting to think that the minecart might be a little bit broken of a strategy. As a reward for my highly skilled gameplay, I managed to catch a Crystal Serpent on the third catch in the Hollowed Biome. Would have been super helpful if this was a pink run, but interesting nonetheless. I also finally got around to building that Crimson Pond, so now I actually have Rage Potions. I only got one, but one is all I need. Will this finally be the difference maker between me not despawning the twins? Let's find out. I mean, it's looking pretty good so far. We're doing big damage. So, as it turns out, if you don't take 1 billion damage on Retinazer's phase transition, you could actually keep him close enough, whereas he can hit you, but not kill you, and you don't actually despawn him. Fun fact. With a new pickaxe axe in hand, and an Excalibur in my pocket for later, it's time to mine some motherfucking chlorophyte. Welcome back, everybody. Now that we've defeated the mechs, we can finally buy ourselves some leaf wings from the Witch Doctor, or that's what I thought. Nope. We gotta wait until post-Plantara for wings, so just one more boss until my suffering can ease. Speaking of suffering, I had to go to the dungeon to find the Muramasa, and also finally got revenge on that damn worm to make myself a nice edge. Now we have the true Knight's Edge, which, hot take, is kinda garbo, so I hardly even use it. After that detour, we're back on track to filling out our max health and making a nice Plantara arena. With the fact that my gear is actually on tier for once, I do not expect this fight to be challenging in the slightest. I kinda brushed over it in the montage, but core fight means big upgrades for us. Chlorophyte armor is going to be the final set we're running with, and honestly, it's nothing to scoff at. The buffs they did for the crystal on this set is honestly pretty crazy, and it felt good to finally have something to kill stuff for me. The only other option for late game armor would have been Tiki armor, but we don't have any good summons, so Chlorophyte it is. As for weapons though, the Chlorophyte shotbow is basically 3 times better than the Mithril Repeater, but the real star of the show here is actually the Chlorophyte Partisan. This is another heavily slept on weapon that I now have the excuse to use in the context of this run. The little spore cloud it shoots out does decent damage, but it goes through blocks and also pierces infinitely. The strategy you could hopefully see me implementing was just to circle around her to keep stacking up clouds in one spot for max DPS. I would have said this is the most powerful will be proportionally, but killing Plantara opens up our actual final gear, so this is a really exciting kill for me. I also happened to run out of flasks before this fight, so this isn't even our full potential. I have a few close calls in second phase, but I somehow perfectly dodged everything to not get put in the Plantara blender. It's impossible for me to go a single boss fight without talking about knockback immunity, but it's a real problem. The only real alternative to knockback immunity is the Ankh, but we don't even have access to that anyway. So yes, I'm gonna continue complaining about it. Even without any real damage accessories, this fight took around under 2 minutes, which is pretty good for an HP sponge like Plantara. Anyways.
It's a spear.
Yeah, get the Venus Magnum! And a
Got
Spore
the
Sack!
Spore
I forgot
Sack.
about the Spore Sack! Yay! And now, I finally have my first hard mode accessory, the Spore Sack. Usually it's a subpar accessory, but I'll take it over a green counterweight or a radar. We just got our first, and now it's already time for our second. Real wings! No longer will I need to chug Featherfall potions. We'll also be swapping to range for a little to use that Venus Magnum I got. Combined with Chlorophyte bullets, the Venus Magnum is a lean green homing machine that can tear through many enemies and bosses. Fishron? If I can manage to take down Fishron, we're gonna get some pretty strong gear. He is tough, especially without any dashes and in expert mode, but nonetheless, I feel like I know the Fishron fight well enough to perform. I put up a valiant effort, but this last part is kinda heartbreaking, so I'll just let live me tell you.
You're on the face.
Oh! After one little pit stop at the Jungle Temple to get a solar tablet, I'm back again to give Fishron another go. Yes! Oh my goodness! Yeah! Okay.
Intrepid.
That's right. Not only did we get the tsunami, which was the drop I was looking for, we got motherfucking Fishron wings. I don't care how green you think these things are or not, they are too badass for me to not use. But with the Tsunami in hand, and also my Pintus, it's time for that solar eclipse I was talking about. You know what I want, and Mothron delivers dropping the Broken Hero Sword on the first try. Now we have our final 2 weapons of the run, and boy, I could not be happier. Both of our new weapons are spectacular, with the Terrorblade doing consistent damage from close to medium ranges, and the Tsunami doing heavy damage as long as you can actually aim it right. In the meantime though, preparing for Golem, I got turned to pulp by the Empress, and also got my hands on a frog leg to make some amphibian gear. By no means was this necessary though, as the Golem fight is so easy, it's hardly worth showing. After I rough Golem up a little bit more, I waste no time heading to the Cultist. He's easy as usual, just hit the right guy and dodge the big balls he shoots. As for that amphibian gear though, I was too lazy to farm it until now, but any accessories with frog legs will stack up to make your wings much more mobile. If you have enough patience to farm the frog legs, I'd recommend doing so if you try this. And now with the Cultist down, I feel like there's not much that needs to be said anymore. Let's just kill the pillars so I can finally get on with my merry life. Yeah, it was never gonna be that easy, but I wasn't expecting it to be. I still have enough fragments to make 2 sigils, since I never crafted any pillar weapons. But before we fight him again though, I need to make some preparations. Before, I just tried to grapple hook off the minecart track, but I need a platform so I can keep my mind occupied with dodging. After building that, it's time for attempt number 2. This one goes a bit better now that we have that platform, but I died just before breaking all 3 eyes. After that, I remove an annoying rope that was bothering me and also move these heart statues overhead to the same level as the minecart platform in preparation for attempt 3. This one got a lot closer with me breaking all 3 eyes to open the core and even getting it down to around half health, but only to die to take in a greedy recall. To prevent something like this from happening again, I just built a little bed next to the heart statues and set my spawn there. We are out of sigils though, so after a little off-camera mining, we now have enough. We're in the weeds a little bit now, so I'll show a little bit more here. Because my respawn point is all the way to the left of the bridge, I am forced to run right to escape Torso Boy here. This results in me getting both top and right eyes damaged heavily, but being left with half health on the left one, and not having a safe way to attack it. This awkwardness ends up with me dying before even getting to the core. And one more bridge expansion later, we're back for another go. In the last fight, I picked up on the fact that if you go up and down instead of straight forward, the Moonlord gets farther away from you. Even though we are using a sword, it's better to not have him close to us because if we get hit once, it could be over. It's especially good to be far away from him because another thing that was annoying me heavily was just getting hit by the hands trying to melee him. At risk of sounding like a broken record, getting hit by the hands is really annoying with our lack of knockback immunity. Another bonus of being really far away from him is that the laser beams couldn't hit me from the true eyes. This whole saga made me realize that I really forgot how to fight the Moonlord, because he's my least favorite boss in general. With the top and right eyes down, the core is finally open for us. Now in the fight is where you truly want him to be basically off screen. In first phase, you have to look at the inner eye to see if he's going to shoot a laser and maybe some other stuff that I'm unaware of. But when Moonlord has his core out, you want to be as far away from this fucker as possible. I did try and keep him somewhat on screen so my Terrorblade could effectively hit his core. But if I really got too far away, I could just use the Tsunami or the Venus Magnum. I had a really scary moment here getting double hit by the eyes. During these fights, I usually recalled to the heart statues, but I hadn't had to do that yet. Just keep swinging and chipping away at that core and you'll go down in due time. As the Moonlord clings on to the last whispers of his life, I'll let Live Me take it away.
Die, you bastard! Oh, I hate you. I hate you. Give me green weapon. Oh! Oh! Green weapon. Yes. So that's not green. Run invalid. My bad.
So, we reached the end of the challenge. It was fun. I don't really have a script anymore, so if you made it this far, I hope you don't mind if I just talk to you for a little bit. Some honorable mentions for weapons I didn't get to use during this challenge include the Vilethorn, the Clinger Staff, the Razor Pine, and maybe the Fish Run weapons. I don't really know if I would include those. If you enjoyed this video, you could subscribe. That'll show me to make another one. One thing I was thinking of doing, besides Legendary mode, because honestly, that sounds a little painful, is just doing Calamity Green only. I don't know how more or less painful that would be, but it seems like something fun. Even if I don't get a bunch of subscribers or a bunch of views on this video, I might just do it anyway, because it sounds fun. I'm not going to edit it, of course. Or maybe, you know, it depends. But making videos is hard, man. I never expected, like, the amount of work that would go into this. Sure, like, if I beat it in 10 hours instead of, like, 20 or whatever, it would have been a little easier, but... Excuse my yap. No, I'm not putting that in the video. Yeah, whatever. Not editing this. So, signing off. See you later. If you guys liked it, make sure to tell me. I don't know. Maybe I'll make another one, if you're lucky. Alright. Later, guys. Enjoy.